Mark Bishop Show. Truly like a box of chocolates. You never know who you're going to meet. From business, lifestyle, and fun. Here's Mark.
Welcome, everybody, to another Mark Bishop Show. You know, this episode, it's about you learning more about free resources that the College Board offers to high school students. Taking the PSAT and MSQT, well, it's a rite of passage for millions of high school students across the country each October, and it connects them to opportunities and success for life after high school. Now, when a student takes the PSAT and MSQT, they can connect directly and earlier with colleges, academic majors, career opportunities, and more than $300 million in scholarships. And beyond opening doors to college, career insights are included on score reports. So they're tied to scores and skills and mapped to the federal career database. So my very special guest, Priscilla Rodriguez, she is the Senior Vice President of College Readiness Assessments, SAT and PSATs. Welcome, Priscilla.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Priscilla, it is a lot more than just a test, right? I mean, what is the PSAT, NMSQT, and why is it so important?
It's a great question, and we're talking at a really important time of year for high school students because every year in October, throughout the month of October, millions of 10th and 11th grade students across the country take this test called the PSAT NMSQT. That stands for Preliminary SAT National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test. So what does that long name mean? What it means is that this is a test that students take about halfway through high school that gives them a lot of information and can provide a lot of opportunity to help them start figuring out what their options are after high school. And so what that means is great practice for the SAT, the full SAT that they'll take later in high school as they think about applying to college. It connects them with over $300 million in scholarship opportunities every year, including the National Merit Scholarship and Recognition Program. This is the only test that can qualify a student for the National Merit Program. It gives great information about where students are in their reading, writing, and math skills halfway through high school, and it can identify students who are likely to succeed in AP or advanced placement classes. Those are those classes that you can take in high school that give you college credit, which saves you time and money. So 1 2-hour test taken in 10th or 11th grade in school that can open a lot of doors for students to help them explore their futures.
Talk about having it made. There's no excuses, is there, really? That's beautiful. What an opportunity. You know, scholarships, a 1 2-hour test. What can you give us a bit of an idea what would be involved in that 2-hour test?
Yes, absolutely. And we're really committed to making sure the test doesn't feel like a mystery to students. We want them walking in on test day calm and confident. So this test is just over 2 hours long, and it's structured exactly like the SAT they'll take later, which means it has a reading, writing section and a math section. They take these tests digitally. The old paper tests with little bubble sheets are gone. Today's students take these tests on a laptop or a tablet, which they love, by the way. That feels a lot more natural to today's students. And they do these 2 sections in just over 2 hours on a device in their school. And a few weeks later, they get back their scores and a score report. The purpose of that report is to help them make sense of their score, how they did on those 2 sections, and the skills inside each of those 2 sections. And that's where they start getting the information on how to start connecting with colleges and scholarship programs that are looking for students like them.
So, in effect, you know, even at that age and at high school, what a wonderful opportunity to sit down and consider your future. What maybe turns you on? You know, when we were kids, it was, oh, look, a fireman, a policeman, a lawyer, a doctor, whatever. But today, there's a lot of choices. And this is all paying for college. And it's the only test that serves as the National Merit Scholarship Program qualifying test. And now when you say 300 million, that's a lot of loot, mate, in additional scholarships, right? That would cover, is there a rough number of how many it would cover?
That's a great question. That money comes from not just the National Merit Scholarship Program, but lots of other scholarship programs that are looking for students across the country who they can help, pay for college. So I would expect, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of students each year receive some of that money. And I think one thing that a lot of families don't know how much scholarship money is out there. And College Board's tools, particularly our scholarship search tool on our website called bigfuture.org, is an amazing way to figure out what's out there that could be a good match for your student. And I think they also underestimate what a difference even smaller scholarships, $1,000, $2,000, what a difference that can make if you get a few of those. So I'd really encourage students and parents to start looking at scholarship options as early as in high school as possible.
Mm-hmm. And if you wouldn't mind, Priscilla, just mention that again. What was that site?
Sure. That is bigfuture.org, where we have scholarship, college, and career search tools, all for free for students to use.
Fabulous. Bigfuture.com. You got a big future, son? Well, I think so, Dad. Students also receive career insights and a snapshot on their score report. Now, I guess this identifies 6 growing careers in their state that are well aligned to the skills they're demonstrated on. The PSAT and the MNSQT. It's a mouthful. 80% of students who viewed their career insights snapshot said that they're committed to learning more about their abilities and interests. Now, that must be a very positive thing for you to hear.
It is. It's really important work that's all about helping students, no matter where they live and where they learn, understand that there's so much possibility for them. And in any combination of going to college and going into the workforce. Today's students are taking so many interesting paths after high school, and we really want to have this test and the resources we offer students be a source of information and opportunity for them.
You mentioned, they've got their laptops and so on to do the test compared to paper. How do you stop them, cheating? It's a
great question. So digital testing has actually made the test even more secure. And there's 2 reasons for that. I'll say them quickly. The first is students take these tests, the PSATs and SAT, on a testing app we developed at College Board called Blue Book. And when Blue Book is open on a student's computer, it locks down everything else. You can't have anything else running. You can't flip over to a different tab or a different tool. Really, the only thing you can do is you're stuck inside this test. So that's the first thing.
Right.
And the second is with digital testing, we're able to give students different sets of questions. With paper, we used to have to print out one version of the test and ship it to every student who was taking it that day. They all had the same questions.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to do that anymore. We can almost scramble them a little bit now that we're delivering it digitally. So there's no point in looking over at your neighbor's desk during the test. They have some different questions than you.
Fabulous. So I got to ask you, can Blue Book be hacked?
Yes.
All right. I love your honesty. That's beautiful. Now, how can the PSAT and MNSQT really help students prepare for the SAT?
Yeah, it's great practice for the SAT, right? It comes 6 months, 12 months before a student's going to take the SAT. It is structured exactly like the SAT. Same length, same section, same kind of questions, same skills. So no surprises. It is lower stakes, right? It's a score that isn't going to go to a college. So while it matters for scholarships, it is less stress, and it's an opportunity for students to see how they do, get used to the format, get used to the timing, and then use their scores to be able to do targeted practice, right? So if the PSAT and MSQT shows me that I'm not where I need to be on geometry, for example, I now have months to use the tools that College Board offers, the free practice we make available, to hone my geometry skills before the SAT ever comes around.
Wow. Now, that's a big thing, isn't it? Because, not everybody's good at everything. I mean, before you mentioned English and math, they were the two basic subjects that, you get tested on, right? So English in this case, does that cover expression and literature, or what comes under English as an example?
Yeah, it's reading and writing. So it's all about students' ability to both make sense of language that they read, think critically about it, and answer questions about its meaning, its purpose, etc. And then the writing part is around, can students represent thinking and ideas in ways that communicate what is intended to audiences. So it's both parts of that. Interesting, because I got to tell you today, the students I meet anyway, I think they've just lost the total understanding of what communication is. It frightens me, to be honest with you. But anyway, maybe this brings it out of themselves better and trains them better for the future. And when you talk about math, algebra, science, math 1, 2, what? That's another great question. It really covers the span of high school math. So algebra 1 and 2, some statistics, a little bit of geometry and trigonometry. So it's aligned to the math that students learn in their schools from 9th to 12th grade, and that's really by design. Students shouldn't be surprised with the kind of math they haven't seen before. It really is what they're already learning in high school. Okay. And it's meant, again, to give high schools and the colleges they're applying to a sense for what that student has learned to make sure they're going to be able to be successful at a college.
Now, I want to ask you something here out of left field a little bit, because we haven't got a lot of time left, and this has always amazed me. We had the same problem in Australia years ago, but then it was addressed, and we started a lot of trade schools, okay, because there was a terribly shortage of good handymen who could be chippies and carpenters and electricians and plumbers, because, you can't survive without these people. Now, college is terrific, but are there courses for that? Or will any of the SAT or the MNSQT help me go down a different road, perhaps, in a trade? Is there some sort of connection?
I love that question. The answer is yes. Our history as a test, PSAT and SAT, has certainly been focused on college. We admit that readily. But what we've really been focused on, especially the last few years, comes from that same recognition you just said. Recognition that today's students are taking a wide range of paths out of high school. And for many, that is not going straight to a traditional four-year college. And so because the PSATs and SATs test foundational reading, writing, and math skills, we are able to use how students perform and connect them with careers that rely on those same skills that they've just shown. And we have a set of career exploration tools that say, based on how you did and based on your interests, here are careers that could be a great fit that are growing in your state or in our country. And then a bunch of information to help students learn more about their interests and what might be required. So we've really expanded to make sure we're also connecting the dots for students and families when it comes to career, not just college.
What a fantastic job you've been doing. Priscilla, tell you what, there's no excuses. Priscilla Rodriguez, folks, she's the Senior Vice President, College Readiness Assessments with the SAT and the PSATs, PSATs and the SATs. Welcome, Priscilla. That was a wonderful, wonderful information. But I tell you what, your website is going to do a lot more for people. collegeboard.org, correct me if I'm wrong, /PSAT.
That's right.
That's correct, right? Collegeboard, one word, .org /PSAT. And everything is on that site for info, right?
That's right.
Wonderful. Should sit down, study that, because you never know who hears this. Could be grandma cares about the grandchild, mom or dad or a friend or a buddy. Tell them about it. Get onto it. You've got wonderful opportunities. Gee, I tell you what, makes me envious. But anyway, good on them. Thank you, Priscilla. Your time is terrific. We appreciate you coming on the show, and you've done
Thank you. I really appreciate you giving me the time. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. And you know what? You do a great job. Keep it up, all right?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Goodbye.
Join us again for another episode of The Mark Bishop Show. It's a production of Mark Bishop Media.